Welcome back to the channel, where Salem's secrets are never safe, and every week brings us new twists that shake the very foundation of days of our lives. This time, we turn our eyes toward one of the youngest yet most troubled characters in town, Rachel Black. Spoilers reveal that Rachel is about to spiral out of control in a way that could put an innocent life at risk. Her pregnant teacher, Mrs. Brody, may soon find herself in the middle of Rachel's chaos, with Thomas DiMera standing as the only witness. Is this the moment where childhood trauma, grief, and repressed memories collide into tragedy? Let's dive deep into the clues, the psychology, and the shocking fallout that could change Salem forever. Rachel Black has never known a simple childhood. While most kids her age worry about homework or recess drama, Rachel's world has been dominated by betrayal, custody battles, and constant emotional upheaval. Being the daughter of Kristen DiMera and Brady Black already placed her at the center of one of Salem's most volatile families. But the chaos hasn't just swirled around her, it has shaped her. Rachel has witnessed arguments that would scar any child, the tug-of-war between parents who love her yet weaponize her against each other. Every whispered secret and every courtroom showdown has left a mark. And underneath all of this lies a memory so dark, her mind has buried it in self-defense. She was the one who shot E.J. DiMera. Suppressed trauma is dangerous, especially for a child. Psychologists say when a memory is pushed down that deeply, it doesn't disappear, it leaks out through behavior. Rachel's defiance in class, her quick temper, her emotional outbursts, these are all warning signs that she's struggling with more than she can handle. And now, her world has been ripped apart even further. She's mourning the loss of John Black, someone who anchored her with kindness, and she's living with the absence of Kristen, who is locked away in prison for 6 years. Rachel's two strongest ties to stability are gone, leaving her adrift in fear and anger. This is why Salem should be very afraid. Rachel isn't just a troubled girl, she's a powder keg of grief, rage, and repressed memory. And when all of that finally explodes, someone innocent may pay the price. Chad DiMera has always been protective, not only of his own children but of Salem's younger generation as a whole. But lately, his attention has been fixed on Rachel. Spoilers confirm Chad has asked Thomas to keep a close eye on her at school, and that request speaks volumes. Chad knows better than anyone what carrying DiMera blood can mean. Secrets, lies, and guilt tend to find their way into the next generation, and Chad senses Rachel is on the brink of a dangerous spiral. Thomas, though still young, is observant and empathetic. Writers have gone out of their way to show his growing connection with Rachel this school year, as if preparing us for the moment when Thomas becomes her reluctant witness, and perhaps her conscience. He is both friend and potential truth-teller, placed in the perfect position to see what others might miss. And then there's Mrs. Brody. This seemingly secondary character has been spotlighted multiple times, each mention adding weight. Rachel's defiance toward her, correcting the teacher in front of the class, was more than a child acting out. It was a glimpse of deeper resentment and authority issues brewing under the surface. But the danger doesn't stop there. Mrs. Brody isn't just any teacher, she's heavily pregnant, in her 3rd trimester. Chad even pointed this out in conversation, almost as if foreshadowing the fragility of her situation. Salem doesn't waste details like this. When a pregnancy is emphasized, it usually becomes central to a high-stakes storyline. The threads are connecting: Rachel's inner turmoil, her conflict with authority, and a vulnerable teacher on the edge of motherhood. The question haunting Salem now is chillingly simple: what happens if Rachel's instability collides with Mrs. Brody's vulnerability? And if Thomas is there to witness it, will he protect Rachel or expose her darkest moment? Picture the atmosphere at Salem Elementary. The bell has just rung, chatter fills the hallways, and students crowd the stairwell in a rush to get home. In the middle of this everyday chaos stands Rachel Black, her emotions simmering dangerously close to the surface. All it would take is one small spark, an argument, a correction, or a flash of defiance, for her temper to explode. Mrs. Brody, calm but heavily pregnant, may try to intervene. Spoilers have hinted at tension between her and Rachel already. What if Mrs. Brody raises her voice, trying to set boundaries? To a child already drowning in grief, trauma, and anger, that might feel like humiliation. For Rachel, authority has always been a trigger, a reminder of all the adults who failed to give her the stability she desperately needed. Now imagine the scenario turning violent. A shove on the staircase. A push delivered in a blind outburst of rage. The teacher's hand grasping for the railing, her eyes wide with fear, not only for herself but for the unborn child she carries. In a matter of seconds, an ordinary school day could transform into Salem's next nightmare. And standing nearby, watching with horrified eyes, could be Thomas DiMera. For him, the moment would be more than terrifying, it would be life-altering. He would become the sole witness to Rachel's darkest spiral. What choice would he make? Tell the truth and risk destroying his friend, or protect her and carry the unbearable weight of silence? This is no longer just Mrs. Brody's nightmare, it's Salem's looming catastrophe. Because if Rachel crosses this line, the label of troubled child will no longer fit. She will become a genuine threat, and the town will never see her the same way again. But the consequences don't end with Mrs. Brody's fall. In fact, such a traumatic incident could unlock the deepest, darkest corner of Rachel's mind. Trauma is like a locked box, and sometimes it takes another shock to break it open. Seeing Mrs. Brody in danger, her life and her babies hanging by a thread, may hurl Rachel back into the repressed memory of the night she shot E.J. DiMera. In that instant, the mental wall she built to protect herself could shatter. The memory of gripping the gun, the deafening bang of the shot, E.J. collapsing in pain, it could all come rushing back in terrifying clarity. The illusion of innocence that has shielded Rachel until now would disintegrate, leaving her face to face with the truth she's tried so hard to bury. And what about Kristen DiMera? Her prison sentence is built on the lie that she was responsible. Kristen sacrificed her freedom to shield her daughter from a crime no one would believe she committed. If Rachel's memories resurface, the entire foundation of that sacrifice collapses. Salem would be forced to confront a staggering truth: the DiMera heir, still just a child, is also a shooter. This revelation would ripple through every corner of Salem. E.J. would have to relive his own trauma, Chad would be torn between protecting Thomas and exposing Rachel, and Brady would have to decide how to parent a daughter capable of such violence. This isn't just another day's twist. It's the kind of bombshell that reshapes families, rewrites legacies, and redefines innocence itself. Rachel's spiral won't just shake Salem, it could tear it apart. Rachel Black's world is spiraling, and Salem is about to feel the fallout. A pregnant teacher's safety, a child's innocence, and a buried crime are all colliding in a storm that could change everything. Will Thomas be the voice of truth, or will he be silenced by loyalty to his friend? Will Mrs. Brody survive her nightmare, or will tragedy strike her classroom? And when Rachel's memories come rushing back, can anyone protect her from herself? Stay tuned, because Salem is about to face one of its darkest chapters yet.